I am in red mode. So now I've got to get back out of here. So this is the new spoopy transformation where the place changes on the way out. Last time, like, some of the blockages changed and the enemies switched out. This time it looks like I have a... Oh, weird. Does it shoot out in front of me like a flashlight? It does. Huh. That's not really... That's not even the direction that the glowing part is facing. It's technically facing to my right. But it's a flashlight in front of me. Alright. So now I've got to try to get back out of here because there's no teleporting. So this must be my new route. Now it's going to be like a horror game. Because the lights are off. And I'm the source of light. Which also gives you this feeling of like the creatures in the darkness can see me and they're coming for me. Kneel before the Immaculate. Place your palm upon the deathless doctrine. Surrender your pride, your vanity, or as you call it, your will. This is the first sin. Let's go. Let go. Allow her eternal wisdom, untouched and unspoiled, guide you. Your spirit will not falter if it is hers to command. We doing this? Okay, so this is not the new path out. So I gotta go back the way I came. Did I see that right?
Perhaps it's time to make some new memories?
She's done revealing, yeah, all of them are glimpses. So she's done revealing memories for me, and I straight up can't spend more tar on this character. That's it, that's the cap. So I need to find those other characters that I somehow failed to find. That's remarkable that all the other characters look like they were probably in that starting zone. And I seem to have somehow failed to find any of them at all. Which is surprising. Not really sure how I pulled that off. I tried to explore, but I got almost none of the weapons too. Is he okay? That was weird. He didn't fight back. Can he see? Alright. That's 3 fights in a row that were just the same fight over and over again. My criticisms of this game are definitely growing. It has a lot of style, like it's got a really, the presentation's really solid. And the combat, like the hardening is an interesting idea. It's probably the best feature of the game is the hardening idea. But it has flaws that potentially aren't really being addressed by the game necessarily. Because when you play against a Dark Souls enemy, there's a give and take sort of where if you can't stun them to the point where they can't fight back or something, then you need to come up with you need to react to the enemy in a more direct way. You need to be able to evade their attacks. You need to attack during the openings, then dodge out or block, and then attack again. And like, you need to react. Like the enemy gets to take turns attacking you, and you have to react, and that disrupts your behavior. The result of this hardened mechanic is that I don't necessarily have to have my behavior disrupted at all. I can potentially just ignore the enemy completely. Not literally completely, in that I do have to use... Is this guy not going to wake up? No. Okay. He didn't even swing. I can't literally ignore the enemy, but I can just spam attacks. Like I'm getting away with spamming right trigger in this game more than I've gotten away with doing it in basically any other game I've played in this like subgenre. Like I am basically button mashing against a lot of these enemies, and then when they finally do swing back at me, I hit left trigger to negate their attack. That's our dynamic right now. And that's a weird dynamic for a Souls-like to have. Well, I'm currently in a flow where I've fought these enemies so much. This is my other criticism. Huh. Whoa. What's happening? One of my other criticisms is the lack of enemy variety, and specifically the enemies aren't necessarily used in varied ways. This is probably the most common problem I have with Souls-likes, is there's a real elegant nature to... Oop. To how Dark Souls is handled, and it's why the Souls games are some of my favorite games ever, is that you genuinely feel that every moment of the gameplay is a new moment. Like maybe if we go through with a fine-tooth comb, we'll find things like, technically that's a redundant combat encounter, but like, it's a remarkably well-paced playthrough full of incredibly diverse combat encounters, and when enemies repeat, which they of course do. Okay, this is caved in, so we can't go back this way. When enemies do repeat, which they do all the time, obviously, it's not like every enemy is completely unique. They're changed. Like, okay, they're now here's a level where the environment changes the context of the fight, and here's another moment where like, okay, now it's he's coupled with this enemy, or he's in this little situation, or the environment. Like, there's a lot of little interplays between enemy mixing, quantity, and the level design that all makes the combat encounters feel different. A good example of that is the Upper Undead Burg, the first major area after Firelink Shrine. You're just fighting the same skeleton knights over and over again, mostly. Some of them have shields, some of them have a shield and a spear, some of them have a bow, some of them have a sword or something, and those are like all technically different enemies. Those are all technically different enemies in that they behave differently. Especially when they have like a shield and things like that. Does he see me? Oh, it's late. Those are kind of technically different enemies, but it's not a lot. And the Upper Undead Burg has a lot of enemies. But the interplay of how they're organized throughout the level is really a big deal. Yeah, I'm just dispatching these guys at this point. So even if you think you're like, okay, I can take out an undead knight, that's easy. But now it's like, okay, after the dragon strike, like there's the one in the opening clearing, but then above them there's another one with that has a bow up on the ledge, and then there's the two with spears on the right. So if you try to cross that bridge to the shopkeeper, now you got to deal with two of them that have spears and shields, and you haven't really dealt with shields so far. So like, this is a new problem. And then that gauntlet when you're approaching the tower with the Taurus demon is like the interplay between the enemy choice, the enemy placements and the level design is only becoming more lethal and dangerous. And like, that was a hell of a gauntlet. Like, it took me a long time to beat that level. That's obviously because I was new at these things too, so it's not entirely just that stuff, but like, that's an interesting situation to sort of solve your way through. And this game is not devoid of that. It definitely has that, but then it doesn't. That's the issue. It only sometimes has that, and then it keeps going. And when it keeps going, it repeats ideas. And I think this is one of the core ideas of a Souls-like. If you're truly trying to capture what's great about that stuff, it's not just having a level that wraps back on itself in interesting ways. It's not just the stamina-based combat with the heavy swinging. It's not just the cryptic item descriptions and the talking to an NPC that is kind of cryptic and creepy and laughs funny or something. And it's not just the state of like, here's a checkpoint system where if you die, you lose all of your currency and have to get back to your body, and then the checkpoints also reset the world state. Like, those are all elements, but the most commonly missing part is the sheer variety of moment-to-moment gameplay that makes the experience feel really well-paced and not like it's full of filler. Because even the worst parts of Souls games, I don't necessarily feel like really get fillery, even though people will disagree. And you know, there's like a gradient here. There's better parts and worse parts, obviously. But like right now, I'm just I don't even have to talk about the game. I can just talk about Dark Souls for a while and kind of podcast, because I'm mostly just really comfortably fighting against the same enemies. Oh, he's alive. Oh, he's the guy. No, that's the second guy. I'm really comfortably just fighting the same dudes over and over again. So... And like always, this isn't like, man, this game is trash now and let's dunk on it or anything. It's just like, in this genre, they're always inviting the comparison to Dark Souls, and so I'm inevitably going to spend a portion of the playthrough discussing that topic, because that's the thing worth discussing. It's also a much more elaborate and interesting way of discussing the disparity of what I perceive as a disparity in quality, with instead of just complaining the entire time, like, oh, this guy again, because I could also be doing that. This is my more intricate way of saying, ugh. All right, that guy again. So I'm definitely feeling that. It's definitely like I appreciate that the level like slightly reorganized itself via a cave-in like it did last time, making you navigate your way out differently. And I like that I like the complementing factor of how this is happening. It's very atmospheric and creepy, and it's a cool visual of like it's the aesthetic of you need to navigate out of here, and all you have left is this one flare, and once that's out, the void takes you. But in reality, I'm just walking back the way I came, but maybe slightly altered, and I'm fighting the same enemies I fought on the way in, and they're not really even in a new context. So it's not even, so I'm at this point I'm like I'm very like robotically and automatically fighting them, because I like any struggles I had early on have been ironed out, and I pretty much just have a system. So at this point, they're like enemies in a Batman Arkham Asylum game, where it's like, oh, when you first get introduced to the one new weird enemy, you're like, oh, here we go. You're like, oh god, what's that guy do? Oh, I gotta hit counter or something.
Perhaps it's time to make some.
Like, oh, I gotta hit counter. Oh, that's the guy you gotta dodge, and then you gotta like take his armor off, and then you gotta attack him from behind, or there's some kind of system. And then once I have a decent number of glimpses. Might as well just hold on to them until I get to 30, maybe. Let's go. Is he back? No, there's new enemies. The ghosts are here now. Oh, and there's also two of those guys in the middle. This place is looking angry. But yeah, individual Batman Arkham Asylum enemies aren't meant to be that interesting because they attack you in large groups. And so you're supposed to be able to quickly scan what enemy type each one is, and then remember like, ah, yeah, you hit Y on those guys, or whatever the hell. And so like it's kind of built around repetition, because almost every Batman game, almost every Batman fight is just you're basically in a square, like a square-shaped place. It's just any square, and in that square-shaped place, you will fight this particular grouping of enemies. And then it's like a test, like, can you pull off the exact sequence of attacks and dodge every attack based on your previous exposures? Let's see. But that's very much not what a Souls game is like, by contrast. It's a very different kind of game. So I want to be thinking a lot. Okay, that's just a jump scare. Dick. I think that's kind of what draws me to the franchise, and what interests me so much is that, like, I had my days of playing Diablo, where you just kind of keep clicking on dudes, and you get the satisfaction of the numbers going up and so on. Now I want to think more. And I saw Dark Souls, and I'm like, this is a whole new way of seeing this entire genre. I'm psyched. Let's see. Ta-da! So I think that's a topic worth discussing. But also I've largely run out of things to say about that, and we're still doing this. You know what? I'm done here. Bye. We're close enough to the exit that I think I can make it. See you later. See ya. God, there's so many more fights to do on the way out. You're welcome for running, everybody.
Perhaps it's time to make some.
Quickly, Tar. Oh, it doesn't do the fade to white. Everyone just blinks out of existence. Now that she's a store. Well, looks like my acid thirst has been quenched. There we go. Alright, so now I can save my future weapons for... my future acid for other weapons. Let's get out of here. And I guess I'll go back to the camp now. And like... well, first I'll have to give him that essence thing. The gland. But also, I need to check those clues and see if I can track down where those characters and things are, because I can't... I just haven't found them. I thought I would find at least some of them by just exploring the surrounding area just naturally. But then I quickly got into a situation where the areas I had left to explore were just pointing me back in places that I'd already seen. So the environment is difficult to parse enough that I'm not doing a great job at telling where I have and haven't been. That is a density of the same enemy. Bye-bye. The atmosphere is so fucking thick and... oh god! I didn't see you jump on me at all. Maybe it got me from behind, but it had showed the animation from the front. Whoop. Whoopsie. Oh. Oh. You guys are just around now, huh? I guess I should fight him, right? Oh yeah, he's even got a health bar again. Oh! 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 Oh my god! So I take it I didn't harden in time. Jesus Christ. That was a hell of an animation. There we go. Is he rolling downhill? I guess that's a slope. That must be a slope because he rolled for it. Well, you're free from this life. Creepy goblin bird man thing. That grapple attack! I believe I've seen this before. Oh, what the fuck? What? Where are they coming? Ah. Ah. Dude, I've got 11 already, damn. Is that them dropping from, like, those bat positions? But, like, that's freaking me out. I'm not seeing a single frame of animation. I'm just seeing us instantly be in the grapple. Like, that must be it. That must be him dropping down. Whoa. I wonder if I rewound back if I would see any frames of animation of him landing on me, or if he genuinely just... I'm just in the animation and he's already on me. Because I'm not sure. Thank you for the mushroom. You guys are so rare. Oh, I know where I am. I know where I am. Yep, this is where I ended first episode. But now it's full of these guys. Yeah. Have I gone this way yet? Maybe. Yeah, call me crazy, but I feel like this area was more interesting the first time. When there was a bunch of different enemies here. Now there's one enemy over and over again. And he's not hard. So it's like... It's just a weird... I don't... Like, is this the idea of an escalation? Like, theming-wise, it's an escalation. This is very much akin to when in The Witcher, the difference between roaming bands of brigands versus, like, the various neckers and other, like, undead corpse eater monster dudes that show up everywhere. It's like, it's definitely like things getting worse in that way. Looks like I'm back. But mechanically, it's like, eh. Bunch of dudes I can two-shot. Sometimes they jump at me, so I should block that. But otherwise, just two-shot them. A lot of them are polite enough to just slowly walk towards me until I murder them. Like, they're honestly not even attacking me. If they don't, if their AI doesn't trigger their jump attack thing, then they just don't fight me. Oh god, there's a lot here. And I almost went directly into that trap. That guy hasn't noticed me somehow. This guy's still following me. Whoa! You okay, buddy? Woohoo! Alright, please don't, like, blue screen me or something. That'd be a bit of an escalation. More accurate that he would crash the game, maybe quenching acid. Ha ha! Big find, although I'm less excited about it now that I've finished my weapon. Oh fuck! They are like invisible sometimes. Not literally, but I'm like they blend. I mean, that's the goal of a bear trap. Yep. Yeah, this is getting ridiculous. Whoop! Oh, I missed. Oh, the poison. Hmm. I guess this, to some extent, was to be expected. That's the kind of dynamic with like Hellpoint is supposedly made by like a 3-man team, and I think I read that this game is made by a 4-man team. And when a game is made by a very small team, you then kind of get the question of like, okay, how is that gonna show? It's probably gonna show in some way. Like this game looks so good. Like it's one of the best looking Souls-likes ever made. So then it's like, okay, how, sure you're waiting for the indiness to show, and you're like, but it's only made, but it's made by 4 people. And it looks like that. How the fuck? Like it does say 4x AAA developers, so like they have their experience. But damn, man, how'd you pull that off? And it might be that they pulled it off by, you know, only having so much like content and forms like enemies and so on. The old prisoner sits contentedly atop his perch, awaiting the newest. The unborn must be greeted with gifts, but gifts they will bestow, in return for unwavering loyalty. So is every human dead now? I didn't see a single one, huh? The transition was interesting, because at the beginning, you just have the one... we just had that one weird encounter with these guys, but then the rest of it was humans. Now we've fully switched.
Perhaps it's time to make some new memories.
Now we can say goodbye to music, because the music is dead. That was a little grim. I forget, do you sell... Wait, this is all, that's all of them. An ornate token. I don't have one of these. I guess I'll buy one of those just because I don't have one. I don't even know what it does. Yeah, the music is dead. There's gonna be no more music players ever again. Sad, sad. I have a lot of these now. Ah. The next eating actually made me get full. Familiarity. Those familiar gain immunity to poison damage for 120 seconds. So I'm now immune to poison for a long... Yeah. I should have just... I kept meaning to get around to that. Like, I wanted to eat in a safe situation. Where I was by a spot where I wouldn't lose anything if it killed me. And then just kind of churn through them. So this gives you poison immunity. Which means this was my cure to poison whenever that comes up. Still no cure for the fire situation, I don't think. Anyway, good I've done a good job discovering that right after I no longer need it, most likely. I finished the poison-filled area. The bronze bell. Gain 10% bonus tar for 6 seconds. I wish I hadn't wasted that, but you never know what it's gonna do. Untarnished mask. It's just gonna teleport me here, isn't it? Yeah, it recalls you back to Sister Ganessa. I'm just here to discover all the things that haven't been discovered yet. That did what I thought it would. The Martyr's Shawl. A torn covering wrapped around a shattered hilt. Is it gonna kill me? It has unlimited uses. Whoa! Hello. So it's an item that automatically summons the Martyr's Blade to be used in combat. That's cool. Disciple's Rag. That summons the mace. So you don't have to go back to the statue. You can put them on your hotbar and switch them in combat even. But do I have one for my starting weapon? I don't think I do. Scripture of Defiance. Next parry refunds resolve on success. So parrying does cost resolve, not just the effects. Every parry costs resolve. That's why I'm having issues with parrying. Because I have to watch my meter at all times to see if I'm even allowed to parry. So it's not just a campaign-wide skill thing you can do like in Bloodborne and Sekiro. It requires a really finite resource. Technically, you used silver bullets to do it in Bloodborne, but those were technically finite, but very finite. They weren't rare. You often had dozens and dozens of them. You just had to keep an eye on it in the long term. Scripture of Ardor. Ardor. Next parry poisons enemy on success. Golden Bell. Increase resolve gain for 3 minutes. Slurry of tar. It's just gotta be a bunch of tar. Yep. Copious tar. Copious tar. Scripture of Euphoria. Next parry grants health on success. I've got so many parry effects. The next time I parry, this game's gonna crash. The Ornate Token, the new one I got. Getting struck while hardened will grant a buff, which reduces the next damage. It didn't even finish scrolling. Reduces the next damage taken. Tainted Nectar. Is it gonna hurt me? Oy! Rude. I wonder what that's for. Glimpse of Courage. It's just gonna be, that's 10 courage, or 10 glimpses. It's silly to spend those to discover what they do because they, of course, it's just that, but here I go. Alright. Now I know what the items you sell do at least.